Hello there, and thank you for joining us on the Carnival Mardi Gras and on our very first ever transatlantic cruise. On this cruise, we're going to visit Celebration Key before spending 6 days at sea, then getting into Tenerife, then heading off to Cadiz and Malaga in Spain before finally departing the ship in Barcelona. On our arrival into Orlando, the check-in process was actually pretty seamless for the large number of people that are actually on the Carnival Mardi Gras. And once we got on the ship and kind of made our way through, we ended up doing a little bit of exploring on the ship to kind of get used to it before actually going down and visiting the spa down on deck 5, since we had actually an inside spa cabin on this ship, and then heading back up for the departure of the Disney treasure here. So we actually got to get them to play us a little song on their way out. After that, we headed off to dinner in Guy Fieri's Pig and Anchor for some barbecue. Afterwards, we ended up heading off to some entertainment, their nightly live comedian that they have.
Can I get a what up, G? What up, G? Ooh, that's love, that's love. So a few things before we bring on the comedian. First things first, no heckling of the comedian, because we will not be responsible for what they say back at you. The second thing is no photos or videos during the performance due to our copyright policies.
All right, so before we get going, I'm going to do a quick little evaluation of the Mardi Gras internet services. So the good side of Carnival's internet on this ship was they do have decent speeds. The bad side is there's no Wi-Fi calling support and no VPN support, which means that you also don't get a lot of SMS text messages, and if you want to make phone calls, you're ending up working around it using WhatsApp. So there's your heads up for their internet. So our very first day after we left Orlando was a stop in Celebration Key. Celebration Key is Carnival's private island that they have here in the Bahamas. And it really is kind of just a really big extension playground area of the ship. There's a lot of beach area. There's a huge massive pool. They have different areas that you can go hang out. Some are paid. Some of it's free. There are places where you can get food and drink that are included as part of your visit to the island. And there are restaurants throughout the entire area that you do have to pay for. So like when you go to this area here, it's at a cost. So you're gonna pay for pizzas, you're gonna pay extra for some of the food that they do have here on Celebration Key. But as you end up walking around the island and going and visiting different areas, you'll find some food trucks that are going to be included. You'll get some food vouchers, and something that you can use to get some food on the island for free. Now, there are plenty of bathrooms, lots of beach area, lots of sand. You saw by that. There was a huge pool area. That pool is just massive. I don't even know if the video could do it justice, but it is a huge pool area. The beach on this side it's a nice little beach area. Some of the water area as you get down here a little closer, it's a little bit hard to get into. There's still some rocky area in the water here where you may want to bring some shoes or sandals if you want to get in the water, but there's different areas you can get in. There's lots of different places throughout the island that you can hang out, grab a beach chair, or go hang out by the pool and grab a bar, go to the bar and grab something to drink. The restrooms are pretty much everywhere around here. You don't have too much trouble finding a bathroom anywhere around here. They're pretty frequent, so don't worry too much about that. And then here are some of the food truck areas where you can redeem your coupons for various different kinds of food that they have there. And then as you continue walking around the island, it just kind of goes in one really great big circle with, just a massive amount of beach chairs and space that you can hang out in. You're never really crowded here on this island. It really is huge. Even with 2 ships in port, this place did not feel busy at all. So there are some little sports courts and hammocks and things that you can hang out and go do. Like I said, just beach chair after beach chair after umbrella after lounge area is just all over. So they do have these little specialty restaurants, I guess is what you'd call them. Those are not free. You do end up having to pay for the food at a lot of those. There are also some shops here in the center. If you look off in the distance there, you'll kind of see the big castle that they have in the center. There's a great big central area there with a bunch of shops. There are bars spaced throughout the area. You won't have trouble finding something to drink. I do not believe your drink package carries over to the island, but don't quote me on that. From the conversation I was having, it didn't seem like much of the ship carried over onto the island. It's kind of its own little entity. But here's all the shops here in the center area, and that big water slide castle that they have in the center just for fun. So, and these are kind of like the typical Bahamian souvenir shops that you run into. Everybody's got a Care Aloha or something else that's there you can go shop at and go get some souvenirs if you wish. Again, there's more sports courts. As you get over here a little bit further, there is also kind of a private retreat area on the island. It's a paid for area that's kind of an adults only area that is at a cost if you want to go visit it. The barbecue and beans here is also at a cost as well. The food truck area over on this side of the area of the island is included. You'll be able to use your vouchers to get something there. But like I said, as you just keep heading around this island in one big circle, it's a lot. So the Pearl Cove Beach Club is the paid area I was referring to. This is at a cost and you have to kind of reserve it ahead of time on the ship. But if you want even a little more privacy, that's kind of the place to go. The beach over on that side by Pearl Cove seemed to be a little bit nicer. Again, always a bar hanging out somewhere on this island if you want to go visit that. Then as you head across from this beach area, you're going to run into the pool area bar. They have this really nice area where you can come in and sit down, grab some shade. You can grab something to eat here as well. And then you can hang out by the pool and go to the bar there as well. So there's your quick all the way around the island tour. So hopefully that'll kind of at least give you a little bit of an idea of what Celebration Key is like. Just gives you a bit of a tour. Since Celebration Key is fairly new, it hasn't been open for very long, figured we'd give you a little bit of a walk around tour of the island here. All right, so after we left Celebration Key, the very next 6 whole days was at sea. And I know that seems like a really long time, but there is stuff to do on board. We did find a number of different things to do. We went up here and played miniature golf. They do happen to have a roller coaster up here as well. So you can come up here in the playground area and you can ride the roller coaster if you wish. I believe the roller coaster is $15 and there are some size restrictions on it, but the Bolt roller coaster is one of the fun things you can kind of do up here. And then outside of that, there is this huge sports court that's towards the forward part of the deck up here. This is the sports court area. They have basketball, they have tennis in there. I've seen them play pickleball in there. They do have this ropes course that does run all the way around up here that you can go play on. And the ropes course, I believe, is free. They do have a bunch of different games, whether it's tabletop tennis or the cornhole pool tables and tabletop soccer. Bunch of different stuff. But anyway, here's where all the pool area sections are. This is the main pool area, and there's something there for everybody. Now, after that, we did eat in the main dining one night. The main dining on this cruise was a little bit slow and difficult to manage, especially through the app, but since they had lobster one night, we figured we'd go in there and eat. The rest of the time we ended up going to different places. We would go into Chibang, we ate there, we went to Guy's Pig and Anchor quite a bit. We ended up going to those places a lot more frequently. I actually kind of preferred the food better at Chibang and at Cucina Capital, which is their Italian-inspired restaurant that you can get for free as well. So we would eat in the buffet as well. And because we had a spa cabin, we also were able to spend some time in the thermal area as well, which was kind of a really nice benefit on such a long cruise like this. It did kind of make it a little more relaxing for us. We were really surprised we ended up getting that. It actually was on a casino offer, so it really didn't cost us much. And we also got to spend a little bit of time in the various different entertainment venues. This is the Havana Cabana Club, I guess. The Havana Club is down there. And then we also did attend a couple of the performances that were out in the main central area here on Carnival Celebration Central. Sorry. The performances were nice. They were very entertaining. And then we also spent a lot of time in the comedy clubs and then back here in the sports lounge with whatever events they had going on the TV at that point. Our next stop after our 6 days at sea was in Tenerife. This is the largest and most populous island in the Canary Islands off the northwest coast of Africa. And this really was just kind of a explore around a little bit, drive through the town, get a bus tour, and then go spend the day out at the beach. It was really nice to kind of just hang out here at the beach and spend a little relaxation time on land after being on a boat for 6 days. It is a very beautiful place. I do believe the lounge chairs and umbrellas were about $7 total for the 2 chairs and umbrellas. It was very inexpensive. It was actually really nice to just kind of sit there and hang out. My only complaint was that Carnival ended up moving us forward an hour to every day while we were at sea. And so by the time we ended up getting to Tenerife, we were actually an hour ahead of Tenerife's time. We were actually past them and already on to mainland Europe's time. So it kind of ruined that alignment for us, unfortunately, because we were going to have another day at sea and end up back in Europe after that. So there was my one complaint about the way Carnival handled that. Our day after leaving Tenerife was a day at sea, and so I'm going to give you a little bit more of the food offerings there. There is Shaq's Big Chicken, and then we are also going to do a little bit of a buffet tour. Now, the buffet on this ship is pretty limited. This is it. What you see is the buffet. There's not much else beyond this. It's salads, desserts, a few hot offerings, maybe some gelato and some other station, but this is really what you'll get on the buffet. So again, we ended up going to Guy's Pig and Anchor because that was some of the best food you could get for dinner, and it really was tasty there. So now, our next day after our day at sea, we arrived in Cadiz in the southern part of Spain on the Atlantic side of Gibraltar. So we ended up grabbing a bus tour that took us out to the town of Seville in Spain. We wanted to do a little bit more touring around a little bit more popular tourist destination, which is what Seville is. We didn't get to see much of Cadiz, but Seville was absolutely beautiful. We ended up booking this tour to kind of get a walk around the old town of Seville and see what it was like. So hopefully this will give you a little bit of an idea of some of this just amazing architecture that they have throughout the area. It was really nice to just go on a little tour and go for a little walk and see some of the different parts of Seville and its old town so that you could get an idea of really what it was like here. So now, as we kind of go throughout the area in Seville here, Hopefully this gives you some sort of information, and then hopefully the rest of this video is helpful or entertaining in some way. And if it is, we would love it if you would give us a like and maybe subscribe to our channel, as it really does help us out quite a bit with these videos. So again, we're gonna end up just cruising through these areas here and getting a little bit better idea. We'll probably come to a place where we can get something to eat. We already passed the gelato and came up to a second place to get gelato. And I believe we only got gelato once. I promise. I only did it one time. And it was just enough to get us through walking through all the old town areas here in Seville. So, very beautiful place. Lots of little, just old Spanish homes. Lots of just beautiful architecture and different places you can go see. All these beautiful villas with their gardens that are just manicured and maintained for, I'm assuming, tourists to come visit. But they are absolutely beautiful in some of these courtyards here. So after heading out, we ended up getting just some really beautiful pictures of just so many different areas throughout all of Seville here. This was actually one of the highlights. This beautiful area here with all their fountains, it was incredible. So I do believe this area was called the Plaza de España, and no trip into Seville is complete without getting a chance to come walk around the grounds here and get a really good look at all of this area. It is absolutely a breathtaking area to come visit. Anyway, after our trip here running around Seville, we did end up having to take our bus ride back. After visiting all this stuff here, it was a nice little relaxing ride back into Cadiz to where we could get on our cruise ship and head on back to our dinner that evening. The very next day, the ship made port in Malaga, and again, we grabbed a bus tour to a different city than where the ship was ported. We ended up going up into Granada, and the bus ride up was actually really, really nice. We left very early in the morning here outside of the town of Malaga here and across their beach area. It's actually a pretty little town, and unfortunately we didn't get to spend really any time here in Malaga, as the tour up to Granada encompassed our entire time in port. But it was a beautiful drive up to give you a little bit of an idea of what it's like coming into Granada. It's absolutely beautiful. The tour itself was very nice and pleasant. It was probably about an hour bus ride to really get up into Granada here. This gives you kind of a bird's eye view. And then because the little ruins in Alhambra, well, I guess it's not really ruins, the old town in Alhambra is very difficult to get down to, your bus tour will not make it. You'll end up walking down here, and it's a nice little walk. It's not difficult, it's nothing too strenuous, it's beautiful, it's through all the trees here. You get this really nice, pleasant little experience walking through the areas. Now you'll get through these gates of Alhambra and it'll take you into just some of these just really old, beautiful Spanish architectural areas that you can just spend some time walking around in. It's really all this was just being able to go in and see the sights and get a good look at some of the areas here. And I'm going to go ahead and just let the video play through a bunch of this so you get an idea of what a tour through Alhambra will be like, and I'll be back in just a little bit once the area here is completed out for the walking tour. And once the walking tour of all that stuff was all done, we ended up coming out here into this beautiful little square here that is just outside of the walls of Alhambra. And it's just filled with all kinds of just little restaurants and coffee shops and places to get little souvenirs and whatnot. It was a really just relaxing little place to stop at the end of the tour, grab a little coffee and something to eat. Obviously something that we did here, which it was very, very delicious. The food here was really good. It was tasty. And it was definitely needed after all that walking. So after that, we walked back out to where the buses were at, which they met us at a closer point for our trip back to the ship, before we ended up doing one final day at sea where they showed off their animal towel making skills here in the morning on the pool deck. It's kind of a neat little display to walk out to. It wasn't even advertised, it was just something I had come out here to walk around and get some early morning video, and this is what I ran into here. And then just some of the other little food offerings before we ended up making our way back into Barcelona and finishing off our cruise. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.